As far as Polly's connecting with Real Australia go, a rental on the Central Coast with an old Hills hoist is bloody bonza, mate. Clothesline out the back, press pack out the front, and an awkward photo op.
Anyone else want a tea? No?
Jason Clare there for the Zinger Fest.
This is more baloney than a New York deli. A backflip worthy of Nadia Comaneci.
He doesn't have legislation, he has wedgeslation.
I reckon in that cabinet room there's sour cream and sweet chilli sauce there. There's so many wedges there.
Labor today scoring a mixed response from the locals.
Anthony Albanese is just down there. Do you have a view on him?
Don't know who he is.
What do you think of Albo?
It's a bloke.
I wouldn't know who he is, nah.
Do you think he'd be a good Prime Minister?
Better than Scott Morrison.
Speaking of Scott Morrison,
The shield put up an economic shield.
Shield, the PM's word of the day as he fended off attacks over the country's first interest rate rise in over a decade.
You've made a virtue of interest rates being lower under a coalition government. So why shouldn't you equally be held responsible if interest rates go up?
Well, I do know that interest rates have fallen to 0.1%.
Scott Morrison, of course, is happy to always take credit for anything that goes right. But he always says it's not my job, it's someone else's fault, it's nothing to do with me when things aren't going so well.
The test now is who can best manage an economy under increasing pressure.
Scott Morrison repeatedly says that he's been involved in delivering 8 budgets and that you've never been involved in delivering one. These are incredibly uncertain economic times. Are you up to the job of steering the economy?
I'm absolutely up to the job, and so's my entire team.
But why are you better qualified than him to do this?
We're ready to govern, and this government are out of puff and out of time and out of ideas.
Both leaders facing a ticking time bomb, with more rate rises expected to add to the cost of living crunch and the challenges facing Australia's next Prime Minister.
Have you made up your mind yet?
Don't like any of them.
Why?
Useless.
Well, the man talking to a lot of honest voters there, Hamish, joins us now. Hamish, look, everyone was expecting interest rates to go up, maybe not as much as they have. So what was it like where you were today and the reaction around the Albanese camp?
Well, we were on the bus, actually, when it happened. Everyone was tuning into the live stream and watching the drop come from the RBA. I think probably there was a little bit of surprise about the size of the increase. But I do think it's notable, actually, that while Scott Morrison came out immediately after to respond to the interest rate increase, actually Labor left it to Jim Chalmers, the Shadow Treasurer, to do it. Anthony Albanese had gone inside doing his prep or whatever it is he does in the afternoon after he gets off the bus and left it to the Shadow Treasurer. It's pretty clear that Jim Chalmers is more comfortable in this area than what Anthony Albanese is. But I do think the other thing that's really significant is that the RBA held that press conference itself, somewhat providing some guardrails for the argument that's going to unfold over the next few weeks, pointing to the fact that they see interest rates going up potentially as high as 2.5%. That, I suppose, puts some framework around the debate that can be held by the two parties between now and the election.
Also interesting, when you asked the question about delivering budgets, Anthony Albanese pointed to his team, not just him, which underscores the point you're making about Chalmers there.
Yeah, and actually a large chunk of his answer to that was about an integrity commission. It's just really clear, actually, in those press conferences, Waleed, that he's more comfortable on some territory than others. The other thing I'd really just note from having travelled with the Morrison pack last week and now with Anthony Albanese, Scott Morrison absolutely dominates those press conferences. They're very controlled affairs. The reporters are kept in line pretty firmly. They're reasonably polite. People don't often get follow-ups. The Prime Minister often doesn't answer the question and then the reporters don't necessarily get a chance to hold him to that. In the Albanese camp and bus, it could not be more different. The press pack is entirely on top of him. The press conferences go on for quite a long time. He really struggles to keep control of them. I would observe from today, and I was told by the other reporters there that actually that was a pretty good day for Anthony Albanese. So I do think there's a really distinct difference in how these two camps are faring at this stage of the campaign. And it doesn't look as comfortable, I've got to say, for Anthony Albanese. You see those moments where he defers to the others, whether it's Jason Clare or Jim Chalmers or Katie Gallagher. He really uses them as sort of pillars within these dynamics to keep some control over what's going on.
So if you want to look prime ministerial, don't answer our questions. That's what I'm taking from that.
It's confusing.
And don't be a team player. Just do it all yourself.
Hamish, thanks very much for joining us, mate.
See you guys.